Hey guys, so I'm back with another video. This is Kiara's Mental. I went ahead and created a separate YouTube channel to discuss, mental health, and I will be focusing in on depression and anxiety on this channel. So my other channel, it will be strictly for natural hair, Kiara's Natural, Kiara apostrophe S natural, and this one is Kiara S apostrophe mental. So I just wanted to clarify that. So in this video, I will be kind of piggybacking off my last video, depression, and I will be kind of moving forward with anxiety, being that they do go hand in hand with each other. What is anxiety? Anxiety is, the definition of anxiety is feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease. That is the definition of anxiety. I want to definitely stress that being anxious and having anxiety are two totally different things. I definitely do want to stress that. I cannot stress that enough. I've been seeing lately on social media, it's definitely been a hot topic nowadays. Some people think it's the new wave to be dealing with mental health, dealing with depression, anxiety, OCD, whatever, thing that you might be dealing with. I notice a lot of people think that that's what's in right now, and you have no idea. For people that really think that having depression and anxiety or any other, mental health, problem, whatever, is very ignorant. I personally say, because it's like you have no idea. But anyways, let's get into the good stuff. Okay, so anxiety, the definition of anxiety, like I said, is feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease. Some of the symptoms of having anxiety: excessive worry, excessive fear, insomnia, and it can actually get to the point where you can feel physically ill. And I've actually been to that point, believe it or not. It's more than just having, little butterflies and I'm nervous to, do this, or I'm nervous to, meet my boyfriend's parents, or I'm nervous to, go up and do this assignment. Yes, you will feel anxious. You will feel anxious. I totally agree. But to have anxiety, to be diagnosed by a psychiatrist that you have anxiety, is totally different. Like I said, everybody experiences anxiety differently. Everybody. For me, I have really bad anxiety from time to time. It'll get to the point where I can just cry, and I can't really explain what's going on inside, but to people around me, I try to kind of suppress it. Basically, when I'm around other people and my anxiety comes over me, I feel more self-conscious. I feel like I don't want anybody to know I'm feeling like this, which makes me more anxious because I think other people are noticing that I'm anxious, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like this vicious cycle almost. If it's affecting your work, your personal life, or your health, I think that it would be a good idea to maybe see someone. I was having troubles with that, and I really didn't. I knew nothing about anxiety. I knew about depression. I kind of figured that I had depression somewhat, but like I said, I didn't want to go get checked out. I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to, I didn't want to accept that I was struggling from that. But I feel like the first thing that is most important is to admit that you have it. Nobody wants to have depression. Nobody wants to have anxiety. There's times where I wish, I'm like, why am I like this? Why me? Why did I have to deal with this? But as I'm getting older and starting to learn more and do more research, I'm starting to realize, like, hey, this is something that I have, and it's my job to try to find ways to make this a lot easier for me. Some days are easier than others. But like I said, everybody experiences everybody experiences anxiety differently. like I said, I was on medication. I chose to discontinue with the medication because personal reasons, but I wasn't really down with kind of being a guinea pig on medicine. Like, oh, let's try this. Oh, that doesn't work. Let's try this. Because there's so many different things, you know, struggling with not being able to sleep, struggling with concentration, being tired, you know, all these different things. And I just wasn't with being the guinea pig. And it's like, you know what? I think it'll be a lot better if I try to deal with this on my own and see how far I can get, you know? It is definitely a strong sorry, I'm trying to look for the word, guys. I'm sorry. There's definitely controversy on whether you were born with this depression, anxiety, or is it different factors. Me personally, I believe that it can come from genetics. It can. Me, just my personal opinion, I don't think that I was born with depression. I don't believe that. Like I said in the last video talking about depression, there are different factors, your environment, you know, different things that you go through in your childhood life. You know, I don't believe that I was born with depression. Anxiety, I don't really know, but I don't believe that I was born with it. I think over time, things that I've been through in my childhood life and being in certain environments, I definitely think that that had a lot to do with it. For me personally, depression and anxiety both have affected my life strongly. Along with having a little bit of OCD as well. There's certain rituals and there's certain things that I do to make me feel at ease. Let's just say, you know, certain things in the morning when I get ready to go to work, I have to feel like I have to do certain things before I leave out the door, or I'll feel like, oh, let me come back in and recheck something, or make sure this is off, or make sure that is off. And OCD is a different type of anxiety. There are different type of anxiety disorders. There's the panic disorder, there's the PTSD, there's the social anxiety disorder, there's the generalized anxiety disorder. There's many different ones. For me, the social anxiety disorder, that's the inability to be able to talk to new people, or feeling uneasy being the spotlight, you know, or having the attention on you. For me personally, I hate attention to be on me. I despise it. I hate, you know, walking into a room and then everybody looks at me, or I hate feeling like attention is on me, which, you know, it kind of makes me think that, you know, people think that having anxiety is cool, and it's not. Because when you have anxiety, you're always feeling uneasy. You're always feeling self-conscious, like, oh, are people looking at me? Or how do people, you know, is there something on my face? And I always over obsessed about something being on my face or being in my nose, or how other people are looking at me, like, oh, what are people thinking about me? What are people doing this? Just always feeling like anxious, or always feeling self-conscious about something. It's definitely a struggle. Like I said, there are different antidepressants that, you know, you can be put on. Some of the common ones are Prozac. I know, you know, people kind of make jokes about, you know, the Prozac, the Zoloft, Paxil, Celexa, Lexapro. I want to say I was on Lexapro. Don't quote me. But the way that I felt on those different antidepressants, and I was on a couple others either, I can't remember. But being on those antidepressants, it wasn't for me. So like I said, I decided to just kind of wing it. And like I said, there are some good days, and I've had a lot of bad days where it's like my anxiety is stronger than I am almost, and it's scary. You can almost get to the point where you feel like you want to faint. You can get to the point where, like I said, all you can do is just sit alone and cry, and you're struggling and crying out for help, you know? There are some natural ways that you can deal with anxiety. I didn't say cure anxiety, but definitely, you know, ease it a little bit for you. Chamomile tea is definitely a big one. Breathing. Sometimes I have to literally tell myself, Kiara, breathe. count to 10, breathe, count to 10. And you see, you know, a lot of people get the breathe tattoo. I was actually thinking about getting that, maybe. Just the word breathe. It's like you have to remember to breathe and calm down. Lavender, smelling lavender, different oils and stuff. Natural sunlight. They say you're supposed to be getting at least 15 minutes of natural sunlight a day. And I will say, if I'm in, you know, my room all day and, you know, the lights are off, the blinds are closed, and you go out into some sunlight and it's like, you know, like a breath of fresh air. You know, when you're struggling with anxiety and depression, sometimes you want to be alone. You don't want to be around anyone. You don't want to have to, you know, for people to ask, how are you today? How are you feeling? What's wrong? Especially when people ask what's wrong, it's like, you know, and it's kind of, you be like, oh, I'm tired, or you use a different excuse, because it's like to sit there and try to explain to somebody, you know, they'll be like, oh, they're not going to give you an answer. Most of the time, they're not going to give you a reply that you're going to like. It's like, oh, you know, you'll get over it. Oh, you know, it's kind of like, do you know what it took for me to get out of bed today? Like, you have no idea. So yeah, I really am interested in learning more about anxiety, being that I do struggle with it myself, and I want to, you know, be able to help other people as well. That's why I made this channel, to, if I can at least encourage one person to be able to openly, you know, talk about their anxiety and their depression, I feel like I have done my job, you know. When you, like, and oh yeah, OCD, that's what I wanted to make my last topic, and then I'll be wrapping it up. The OCD, the obsessive compulsive disorder, when you experience obsessions and compulsions. And like I said, for me, there's certain things that I do before I get ready to head out, and if I feel like I haven't done those things, it makes me feel anxious. So for me to get that uneasy feeling, that like uneasy, you know, sensation, to, you know, not even deal with it, I just go ahead and do what I have to do. And that's honestly the reason sometimes most of the time I'm late to things. Sometimes most of the time I'm late to work, or if I have things that I know that I have to do, it makes me feel anxious. Like, let's just say, I plan to go out with a friend at 9:30. And it's like, okay, I knew about this, but as the time gets closer and closer and closer, it's like, whoa, like, I don't know if I want to go. What am I going to wear? What am I going to do? Da, 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 da. You know, and sometimes I've even canceled, and it's hard to explain, like, hey, I canceled because of my anxiety. You know, how does that sound to somebody that doesn't really know what anxiety is all about? You know what I mean? So that's why I say, even people that don't struggle with anxiety, I feel like should at least know, you know, the basics, because I'm pretty sure, you know, a lot of people out there deal with this type of thing, or have family members or have friends that deal with it, and it's kind of like, whoa, like, you know, what's going on? So to be knowledgeable about that, especially nowadays, is very helpful. So yeah, the obsessive compulsive disorder, it can be thoughts, it can be images, it can be rituals, certain things that you do that you just have to do to get that feeling, you know, of uneasy to go away. And that's one of the things that I've learned to do. Is like, why do I have to straighten up my shoes in a straight line, and I'm already late for work? But at the same time, you know, it's like, if that's what I need to do, that's what I need to do. And actually, and one more thing I definitely wanted to point out too, a lot of jobs nowadays really don't understand these mental health issues. I'm not going to go too deep into detail. I'll keep that for my next video. But I definitely feel like bosses, or anybody in a manager position, in a leader position, should have some type of knowledge of mental health. I definitely believe so. For me, I work a lot, and I deal with, you know, these type of things, and I actually have a boss that let me go home early because my anxiety was just that bad. So there are bosses out there that do feel for you and do care for you. There's some bosses that don't. They don't care how you're feeling, and there's some bosses that do. And I do appreciate, you know, those out there that actually care. It makes, you know, working a lot easier for the ones that are actually empathetic, for us that do struggle, you know. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video. Click like if you like it, you know. If not, then I take all opinions. So yeah, can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Thanks.